Recording. Hi guys, welcome to our team call today. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the inviting process. And I know sometimes when we go to invite other people, there comes to be that awkward moment where we're not sure how to transition it to coaching, or we're not sure what to say because we don't want to make it sound salesy, because I know you guys are just like me. And when we are talking to people, we are not talking to them for the purpose of making a sale, but instead we're building relationships and trying to help people. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to ask that you guys shut down any outside distractions. If you have Facebook, shut it down so that we can just have some time to work one-on-one together and get some really great training in. I'm going to talk about this, and then we are going to have a guest speaker, Jen Herdiak, come tell you guys about some of her experience, which I'm super excited about. So I'll pass the puck off to her when it's time. But until then, for all of you people that love to have slides, I have created slides. My geeky side loves to have some slides going on, so you might want a pen and paper for this. All right, I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see the screen okay? Give me a nod. No? Yes? Yes, yes. All right, fantastic. It doesn't let me see my clicker when I do this. Okay, so we're transitioning from forming to inviting without the ick factor. So one of the foundations that you need to know before the training that I'm going to give you guys is how to form people, which is family, occupation, recreation, and message. So before we get to this inviting process that I'm talking to you guys about, you have to have a basic relationship with these people. This is not the type of thing that you're going to go to your cold network with. It's not something you're going to go to someone you don't know. This is going to be friends, family, or someone that you have built a rapport with prior to this taking place, okay? So the first step is to set the stage. Trying to move some of the stuff over here. Okay, to set the stage in order to get into the inviting space. So my number one top tip is PD, personal development. 10 to 15 minutes of personal development before you start your power hour, guys, is the way to make magic happen. I don't know about you, but it's like lube. Can I say that? PD is it gets everything moving. It's like the oil in the engine. PD is what it is that gets you prepared to rock your power hour. And I feel so much better when I do my 10 to 15 minutes of PD before my power hour. Sometimes I'll make it specific. So if I am doing PD for something else, say leadership, I will go and do something specific to relationship building and talking to people on top of that before doing my power hour. So take that in consideration. How to win friends and influence people, I feel like is the number one PD you can do when you're working in a business where you interact with other people. That is like a 50-year-old book, and this book has been used and hailed, and it has so many CEOs and millionaires rely on the importance of this win friends and influence people. Of course, they've updated it. There's one, win friends and influence people in the digital age, and you can get that on audio. You can get the book, but that is a really great one for you to just do 10, 15 minutes before getting started. Another one is GoPro by Eric Worre. That one is so good. I will say we have a little bit more heart in our business than what he's talking to, because it's GoPro for the network marketing businesses, and we aren't selling candles to people. We aren't selling jewelry or makeup, and I don't have anything wrong with any of those, but I truly feel like what we are doing has more of a driving fundamental purpose to it. So when you do GoPro, he's going to give you action steps. He is going to give you some tough love, and he's going to tell you this is how you rock it. You have to be able to take that with a grain of salt to put it into a business that's full of heart. Another one is Rock Your Network Marketing Business. And that one's a super quick read. Absolutely fantastic, especially for setting goals for hitting the next ranks and things like that. Again, keep in mind that our business is far more full of heart than some of these other ones that they're working with. But as long as you can go into it with an open mindset, they're really good books. I love the quote that you work harder on yourself than you do your business, because that's where we feel empowered enough to help people. Like if we're not doing our workout, we're not growing ourselves personally, we're not working on being the very best us possible, it's going to be really hard to reach out to people and invite them to this opportunity. So your number one, and we always say this, like your power hour needs to start with you getting your workout in. It needs to start with your personal development. It needs to start with loving and growing yourself first before you can help other people. If you have literally 30 minutes in a day, say you work a full-time job, you have literally 30 minutes, make that improving yourself. Because if you're not improving yourself, when you go to invite someone, you won't believe it because you're not living it. So, and honestly, maybe I'm a little biased because I care for you guys so much. I truly want to see you guys be the very best you possible. And so I feel it's most important for you to work on yourself first. It's like when you're on the airplane and they say to put the air mask on yourself first before helping someone else. It's so true with coaching too. Another tip that I love when you're going into inviting people is to have your why for coaching visible somewhere. I like to have mine in the beginning of my binder. So I have my binder that I work from, that I do all my follow-ups, that I have everything listed out there. And the very first page is my why. Now my why changes really often. Sometimes a few times a year. When I first started coaching, it didn't change a lot in that first year, but since it's kind of developed as I'm helping more people. So I'll just add a new one in and add a new one in. But when I open my work binder, it should be the first thing I see because I'm here for a reason. I mean, whether it be financial, mine is not financial, but if it is financial, that is okay. I am here for a really big purpose. And if I open my binder and that's the first thing I see, guys, I'm on track. I'm stuck in my groove and I know where I'm going. And when I send someone an invite, I know that I have a purpose for it. So maybe it's in the background of your computer. That's really great. Or on your phone, like your unlock screen could be your why, or printed and framed on your wall or desk. Any of that, make your why visible so that you're seeing it on a daily basis. That can also be for your goals board. You can have your why and your goals board highly visible with where you work. The next thing is to get into the mindset of believing in yourself. Do you believe in what we're doing? Do you believe in the mission that we're on, that there's no one left behind? Do you believe that we are changing people's lives every day? Like getting into that mindset, guys, when you go to invite someone to this business and you don't believe that we are here for a greater purpose, yeah, it's going to be hard to invite. It's going to be hard to say, hey, do you want to join me? When you don't really have in your brain why. But believing in yourself, believing that we are creating a generational change. Like people are feeding their children healthier because we're teaching their parents how to eat healthier. To me, that's my everything. Like to be able to create this generational change where those children are going to teach their children how to be healthier. Like that's huge. So get in the mindset of believing in yourself. So you guys have heard me talk about the tennis ball thing. I'm going to say it again in case we have any new coaches on here. So in the book, The Big Leap, one of my absolute favorite PD books, it's about like going outside your comfort zone, overcoming your upper limits. He talks about this tennis ball. It's by Gay Henderson something. I don't know. He talks about this tennis ball. So fear itself is like a tennis ball. You're holding it in your hand. It does not hold you. You choose to hold the tennis ball. When you have a fear, you have to decide, is this real or is this imagined? Clearly, if your house is on fire, that's a real fear. But say it's an imagined fear, you have the ability to let it go, to just like drop it. And sometimes the tennis ball bounces back up and you just have to let it go again. We hold the fear, it does not hold us. So as we go into the inviting process, there are those fear sticking points that we have. And if we look at it like a tennis ball and just say like, I am not the message, I am the messenger, like I have at the bottom. Like I am providing this opportunity. It is up to them if they want to jump in, if they want to do the work for it. Getting yourself in that mindset, dropping the fear, like anything that starts with what if, that is a freaking tennis ball and you better drop it. Because what if, we have no control over what if. Okay, guys? Release yourself from the outcome. We talk a lot about going for no and being okay with getting no because that means you're building your business forward. But seriously, your job is to give people the opportunity to change their lives. You can't control what they do with it from there, but as long as you're putting it out there, that's what you believe in. So now I've talked a really long time about setting the stage, but are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Like when you're setting the stage to go message someone, if you just go in, say you haven't done your workout, you haven't done anything Beachbody all day, and you're talking to someone and the opportunity comes up to talk about coaching, you feel kind of flimsy in like telling them about the opportunity when none of this has happened beforehand. So this is where it counts. You know, when we talk to you guys about forming people, about building a relationship before providing them with the opportunity, this is your opportunity to form yourself every single day before you go into your power hour. Sounds a little like overdone, but this is the difference between building a small business and building a huge business, is getting your mind in the right place. Okay, so I had a lot of questions about transitioning the conversation. And so this is where you guys might want to be taking notes on it, because I have a few script opportunities for you. I can share all these PowerPoint slides in the page for you. So relationship meets lifestyle. So great questions for transitioning the conversation. Say you're talking to someone and you feel like they would be a really great person for coaching. Here's a few trigger questions to help you guide the conversation in that direction. So not everybody is going to ask you about the coaching opportunity, and maybe you're stuck talking about something random and you don't know how to pull it over to coaching. Here's a few questions that can help you get there. So you could ask someone, where are you working now? If they say, you know, I'm working so-and-so, but I don't really love it. I don't like my coworkers, whatever. That is a perfect opportunity for you to say, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I feel about my coworkers. And, you know, I understand where you're coming from, but I also know that that does not have to be how it is. One that I was thinking about today, because they're, a lot of my people are in the DC area and they're getting pummeled with snow right now. So I was thinking, the weather is so crazy, I can't wait for the free cruise from Beachbody. Do you have any plans trip this summer? Like, someone's going to be like, whoa, free cruise? What? Like, in the middle of winter, people are going to want to talk about going to the tropics and things like that. So that's a good question. Another one, I don't know about you, but I used to struggle with finding myself in the hustle of, and you can insert whatever it is, because I'm telling you guys, we lose ourselves in so many different things. In being a mommy, in overworking ourselves, being a caretaker, the dating game, like all of these, I have heard my friends, my coaches, all of them say, like, it's just so hard to find myself when I'm pushing forward through this. So being able to talk to someone, you have already gotten to know them, you've already talked to them about their life, so you kind of have an idea of where to go with it. But so I wrote, it's like I desperately needed something to claim as my own unique thing. Do you relate at all? So start a conversation that is based on the things that you can potentially help them with. Another one was, do you get along with your coworkers? Now, this is clearly someone that you know is already working. And you could say, at my old or current job, there was just so much drama. So then you're like pulling that conversation into something that you can bring back to Beachbody. So the thing is when you are asking the questions in a conversation, you are pretty much controlling it. You are taking the lead of the conversation by asking questions. As soon as they start asking the questions, you lose that little bit of control. So every time I message with someone, I try to end it in a question, and something that is like I am looking at this conversation with someone and I'm thinking, how can I be curious? How can I be curious about what's happening in their lives? How can I make them feel that I am looking to learn more about them or help them through a current situation? Any of those types of questions will be great for pulling it back eventually to talking to them about coaching, about the challenge group, anything like that. This one's great for transitioning for a challenge group. Oh my gosh, my newsfeed is full of all of these unhealthy, tasty videos. They look so dang good, don't they? I don't know about you guys, but like every day I see these tasty videos where like, it's a healthy recipe. It only has 2 cups of sugar in it. And I'm like, I can't have that. So, and I'm sure a lot of people are seeing those too. So you can talk to your friends, the people that you've added on Facebook about that. I haven't seen you post any of your running, CrossFit, gym posts lately. Are you still doing that? So it's great to make sure they know that you've been following them for a while and that you're interested in their journey. And that one is an fantastic question to ask people that you've known for a little bit of a longer time, and it gets you straight into talking about challenge groups. Because honestly, if it's someone that was posting a lot about running, CrossFit, and gym, and then they dropped off, chances are good that they're really needing someone to invite them back into the fold to get themselves healthy again. Pretty much every day, because I've added a lot of people to my network, I see someone talk about how Facebook is so negative and they're cleaning up their friends list, and if you're deleted, it's because you're negative, things like that. So a great message to send those people is, I saw your post about your newsfeed always being negative. That sucks. I don't seem to notice it anymore, but maybe it's because of my coaching business. Are they people you can block or remove, or is it mainly family? Like, just be curious. Ask these questions. Don't be afraid to ask too much, because people literally won't respond if it's too much. But you're at least giving them the opportunity to talk or to vent or to have someone on their side to interact with about this thing that they're struggling with. And that's pretty unique for people that have posted about it. Another one, it's so cold here. I just want to snuggle in bed and work from my phone. Thankfully, that's where I do most of my coaching. Haha, is it cold where you are? Do you see how, like, all of these little things that I'm giving you are all ways to pull that conversation over? If you are letting them lead the conversation talking about all their other things, it's going to be hard to pull it into what you want to talk to them about naturally. So it's really up to you to start asking questions that do relate to what you're trying to do. So this is where I have some things to plant the seed. This one's for potential challengers. So sometimes it doesn't work to pull the conversation back into where you're going. And that's okay, but I don't want you guys to wait it out. I don't want it to go like weeks without responding, or they're like, hey girl, how are you? I'm fine, what's up? How are you? And then you like don't know what to say next. You know what I'm talking about? So when that happens, dive in. So that is more of the red personality for you guys that have done the color code. Sometimes reds are not going to interact so much on these questions that we're doing through Messenger. And just because they are a specific personality type does not mean that they should not be helped. So this is a way to invite them without them pulling it up into the conversation. So one great one is, our next challenge group, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you, ... and that goes for all of these things. Our next challenge group is starting soon, and you're exactly the kind of person I want by my side for this lifestyle change. Would this be something you'd like to take part in? Super simple, does not sound salesy. It does not sound like you're trying to make a quick buck out of them. It literally says, you are my people. Is this something you'd be interested in? Another one is, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you. I know we talked about working together in the past, but it wasn't the right time. But with, say, challenge group, my free group, whatever, starting soon, do you want to chat to see if you're ready? Not sleazy at all, super simple. Another one, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you. For some reason, I keep thinking about you and how perfect our upcoming challenge group would be for you. All of the uplifting support and community. Now that one, you'll input whatever you feel it would be important to them. Maybe it's all of the meal plan support and meal prep things we have going for you, or maybe the nightly check-ins, whatever you feel because of your conversations in the past, you can put that in there. Have you ever considered joining us? Super simple, guys. We don't want to make it too complicated. These are really quick and easy ways to invite people that you've had a little bit of a struggle with. Now, this is planting the seed for the potential coach. Again, keep it simple. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, have you ever thought about coaching like me? Super simple, and I've used this for people, and normally they'll respond something like, what do you mean, what is coaching? And we'll get to that in a minute. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, I know we talked about working together in the past. This is the same one from the challenger. It works for both challenger and potential coach. So this one would be like, but with our sneak peek starting soon or our new coach training starting soon, do you want to chat to see if you're ready? Perfect. I love this one because you know how, guys, sometimes you have someone you've been talking to in your mind that they would make a perfect coach, but you just don't know how to bring it up. But you just cannot shake this feeling that you have to invite them. This happens to me all the time. And that is when I send them this message. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, for some reason, I keep thinking about you and how perfect this coaching thing would be for you and the people you could help. Because for me, when it's someone I have stuck in my head, it's because I feel like they have a huge ripple effect possibility that they could be helping so many people. Have you ever considered it? Super simple. Another one is I'm hosting a webinar sneak peek next week. Would you be willing to check it out? My personal favorite, and Jenny and I are going to be hosting more of these wine Q&A Zooms. Offer to jump in with us and share your story about what coaching has meant to you. It doesn't mean you have to be a coach for 5 years and lose 100 pounds. It doesn't mean that. Any little victory, we encourage you guys to jump on these with us because it gives us a chance to highlight you to other people. So that one is, I've been meaning to ask you, I'm being featured on a webinar, and you'll be able to send people this video. I've been being featured on a webinar this week. Would you be up for supporting me and joining us as I share my story? So that's the perk to jumping in and sharing your story on one of our wine Q&As is you get to invite people by showing them like you are valuable. People want your time and asking them to support you. And that one is better for maybe friends and family for that one about supporting you. You wouldn't do that to like a cold network person. So a lot of times people will respond with, once I've planted that scene, so what is a challenge group? And it's all broken up in the paragraphs, I'm sorry. I've broken down how I explain what a challenge group is here and how I invite them to it. A challenge group is an online group where we're all focusing on the same type of fitness programs, eating clean, and focusing on changing our lifestyles for the better. It's been my rock through this journey because of, and that's where I want you to include your own personal story. Maybe it's accountability. Maybe it's because like me, you move around a lot and you don't have a lot of friends in the local area, whatever it is, I want you to insert you into this. Do you think that would be helpful for you too? And I always end it on a question, guys, always. I mean, who's going to read that and say like, hell no, I don't want any of that, So then I move on to, would you like me to help to see if one of the programs would be the right fit for you? And this is where you would transition to the script that we have. I have my script that I use to talk to people in the new coach training group in the challenge group bonus page. Or if you're my personally sponsored coach, it's in our file section of our little page. But Misfit Republic has a fantastic script as well that you can use from the misfitrepublic.com website. And that is where you can pick right up on the script from this. This is how you intro into it. So I love using that. Would you like me to help see if we have the right fit for you? Because it doesn't say like, do you want to commit? Because they don't know the price. You're not going to have people respond if they don't know what all they have to add to it. But if I just say, do you want me to help see if we have the right fit for you? I have like 99% of the time people say yes. Sometimes when I do the plant the seed for coaching, people will say, wait, what is this coaching thing? This is the perfect opportunity to drop in that 30-second elevator speech that we talked about. I have mine all printed out here for you guys to kind of look at in case you want to build your own. I'll put that in the team page when I do the slides. But this is where it's really important for you to find out what coaching is to you, because you are going to draw on people like you that you want to work with. So it's important that this part of it, where you explain what coaching is specific to those type of people. I was talking to Mindy Little, and she asked for my help in creating her 30-second elevator speech. She's really passionate of empowering women for career freedom. She used to work in retail. She knows how hard that was on herself and on her body. And so that's where she's passionate about. She actually does not care about losing weight whatsoever. And that's okay. It's okay if it is about losing weight. Whatever it is, you're going to attract the people through all of your posts and your messages that are going to be most interested in what moves you forward. So I need you to come up with your own 30-second elevator speech that's specific to you. So I always end my 30-second elevator speech with, you know what? I actually have a video that explains everything we do really well. It's about 30 minutes long and chock full of great info and details. Would you like me to snag you the link? Now, here's the science behind that. When I first started, I used to say, I have a video that explains it, but it's about 30 minutes long, so you're going to have to set aside time to listen to it. And most people were like, I'm good, don't send it. I don't have time for that. Because like, who is like, I just have 30 minutes. What am I going to do with my day? Like people were not responding positively to that. When I changed it to a positive twist, it's 30 minutes and it is full of great information, people were more likely to say yes. And then I used to say, do you want the link? And that sounded very forceful. Like, I really want to give you the link. Do you want it? And now I've switched it to, it was after reading GoPro. Would you like me to snag you the link? And now that's saying, I will do you this, I'll do you a favor by going and finding the link for you if you would like it. And that little twist in the words there, people are more likely to watch the video if they knew that they asked me for it. I'm basically setting them up to ask me to send them the link. So this little bit, however you do your elevator speech is up to you. But this end part where I say, I actually have a video that explains it really well. Like that, I suggest you guys just like take that and go with it because it works really well for me. I won't say everyone who watches the video signs up, but most everyone who I send the video to watches it. When they say, sure, I say, great, I'll go get it. When do you think you'll have time to set aside to watch? I want to make sure I check back in with you to see if you have any questions. Now, the reason this is important is because I used to feel weird about the follow-up. Like, so I would send them the video, and then I would check in later and I would say, hey, so did you have a chance to watch it? And then it would feel really weird. I would feel so icky asking them. But now, and this is part of GoPro, which is why I totally suggest that book. I have them set up the follow-up. They tell me when to respond to them. So when I do respond to them, it doesn't feel icky because I'm literally honoring my promise that I made to them. And that's where they feel like I honored them. They can already see that, pardon me, I am someone that's going to follow through with what I promised. And I feel empowered by checking in with them because I've already told them I'm going to. Okay, I'm almost done talking, guys, I promise. So my bonus tips. Do not underestimate the beauty of talking to people on the phone or in person. Now, we have Amanda on the call with us, and she's one of my newer coaches, and she said, hey, I want to meet up with you. Can we go to lunch or for coffee? And of course, it took some scheduling to get it right, but we were able to like meet one-on-one. We were able to talk and kind of get to know each other. And through that, I mean, she saw that, yes, I'm a real person. Yes, I have like a real mission to help people, and we have things in common and things like that. And there's something about that connection, guys, that is like priceless. So get them on the phone if you can. If you're using Facebook Messenger, which I highly suggest, I love using the voice memo, especially when you're saying, say someone says, okay, I think I'm going to do this. I send them a voice memo and I'm like, I'm so excited you're going to join us. It's like way more peppy than if I'm like, yay with extra Y's. They connect to that so much more by me sending them a voice memo. Use that voice memo. Sometimes people will be like, oh my gosh, this is so wild hearing your voice, and I love it. And like, that's the response I get. I'm like, can you answer my question? But it's that connection that's immediately forged by doing it that way.
You know I'm laughing over here, right?
Because I'm talking about you. I had already said this once before, but release yourself from the outcome. You are not out there throwing out the opportunity to enlist everyone. You are throwing out the opportunity to enlist the right ones. The people that say no are saying no because really they're not the right fit for you, or it's not the right time in their life. So release yourself from the no. It's going to happen. There are people that are not going to be ready. You are doing your due diligence by inviting them. The people who do say no, put them on your follow-up list. And I also put a note on the bottom, keep interacting with them even after they said no. And there are some coaches that don't agree with this, but this is where I feel happiest. That's where I feel like I'm adding the most value to people, because I don't want to just like do all this relationship building and I know their kids' names and I'm like telling their kids happy birthday and sending them voice memos and they say no and I'm like, peace. Like I don't feel right about that. So for me, I still interact with them. I still check up with them. And sometimes that means they come to me later. Sometimes that means I've just gained a friend. Really, there's no losing to it. When following up from a what is coaching call, I know this one is kind of targeted for the people that have said yes to the video for coaching and all this, but it's really important. Don't send them a message saying, what do you think? Because this gives them the opportunity. You know, when you go to a movie theater, you're at the movie theater and you see this movie trailer and it's beautiful and fantastic and the screen goes black and you look at someone next to you and you're like, well, this is what was wrong with that. And this is why I'm not going to watch it. And you become like the world's best movie critic. You're telling them, be a critic. What do you think? You don't want to set yourself up for any negativity or for them to take that twist in their head to say like, let's look at it from a judge's perspective. What you want to say is, did that make sense to you? And it's perfect because it opens the door for questions, and it opens the door for positivity, for you being able to talk to them through any of their pain points for their sticking points. Okay, let me stop sharing. That was all I have to do with inviting. I see we have stuff in the chat. Did you guys get to see all of the slides? Yes, no? Yeah, someone in there said, I guess, that it didn't switch. I'm sorry. Okay. So that's all I have on the inviting process. I'm going to open it up for questions in a little bit. If you guys have any questions about it, why don't you type in the chat section what your questions would be about inviting. Maybe you have a specific person that you're working with and you're not sure how to transition it. Go ahead and ask away. We're going to brainstorm it. But for right now, I have a special treat for you guys. Jen Herniak is going to come on and talk about something super near and dear to her heart. Okay, guys? All right, testing. Are you unmuted, Jen?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Excellent. Can you not hear the chaos in my background, I hope?
I don't hear any background chaos. You're good.
It's always like music or like somebody's playing a piano or a clarinet or just TV. Who knows? So what I wanted to share with you guys a few weeks ago from Super Saturday, afterwards we were all sharing like our vision boards and stuff, and I got really choked up talking about mine. And I really wanted to kind of sum up some of my thoughts from my experience that really drove me to pick the word share for my year. So it kind of it was like a missed opportunity that really struck me that day. I had a really great time at the Super Saturday with Coach Caleb Thomas. He really touched on a lot of really awesome things, but mostly what he had to say that got to me was specifically how we're obligated as coaches when we sign up to share with people, even if we are uncomfortable, because the person that is listening to us or that might hear what we have to say, they might be twice as uncomfortable as you are, or they might be so uncomfortable with their life that they have nothing positive going on. And what you have to say might really speak to them. So your struggles and things it's important to share. And the reason why that like really just hit me was because of a missed opportunity I had with a friend of mine. So last August we were, all doing Team Cup, and I was on a team with Jenny. I had like super pumped myself to, I guess just, go out there, go for my 100 no's. I was a new coach. I had a lot of people that knew what I was doing, but a lot of people that didn't too. I did not share as much at all back then. But I specifically had worked out this list of people I really wanted to help. That was my main focus. And some of my husband's coworkers were on that list because they have a really stressful job. My husband's a pilot for the Army, and they have a lot of technical stuff. They have a lot of just demands on them besides just being able to fly an aircraft. They have the lives of the people on board in their controls, so it seemed like I was having these huge mental transformations about, just like feeling better, feeling less stressed, feeling, amazing because of all the personal development I had been reading and all my workouts and stuff, eating healthy, drinking water, all these good things. So I had them on my list, and I had an opportunity to talk to them at a party, and I got really excited about it. So going into this party, the day of, my warm market was not very warm at the time. I know some of you can relate to that. Maybe friends and family are not as eager to jump on board and listen to what you have to say. I was experiencing that, and I didn't always deal with it well. I'm a really optimistic person and really positive naturally. It's just me. But sometimes the things people say put me in like a really, negative space. And that's where I was that day going in. And I decided that I just wasn't in the mood anymore to tell anybody anything. Like, at all. It was just like bad phone call in the morning, afternoon of like, yeah, hey. And the thing that, like really made this even worse was I'm not just talking to people that I kind of know, kind of don't know, and telling them about my new coaching business or something. I'm like, there were opportunities galore. Health and fitness came up a couple times. I had them. I was like, oh my gosh, they should totally, Shakeology would be perfect. The performance line had just come out. I'm like, oh, it was in the natural conversation of the party. Like health and fitness came up, not even just once, but multiple times. And I'm like didn't want anybody looking at me or saying anything or chiming in or giving an opinion. So I stayed quiet. And my friend Andrew actually even called me out on something that I had accomplished that was like a really big deal, because I've been super fearful to do this for ages. And he heard about it and he's like, hey, I heard you did that. And I was like, yeah, it was cool. That's it. I didn't talk about the fact that I got the confidence to do it from all of the personal development and workouts I had been doing. That when the person asked me like, hey, let's go do this, I was like, yeah, okay. Just going after something that you're just kind of stepping outside your comfort zone, and you're just going to like tackle the fear today. What am I going to do? I'm going to climb the side of a mountain. So what if I'm not totally ready? Who cares? I can always climb back down, right? I could fall, stumble, and roll down to the bottom. But I skipped the opportunity to share with him how I had gotten to that point, how I really achieved doing that. It wasn't just like step after step. It was like the pregame that led up to me saying yes. And I went home and I thought, I'll talk to them later. What's the big deal? I'll talk to them later. I'll message them or something. And I did. And did not get anybody in a free group or a challenge group. I just never really connected with any of them the rest of that month. I just kind of got the like, oh, you want to join a challenge group? I'm doing this. And what became really unfortunate was the fact that my friend Andrew, a couple of weeks after this party, he ended up taking his life. And it was a really, really big surprise to a lot of us. But what I found out later was that he lacked a lot of self-confidence. He didn't like working out at the gym. He preferred to work out at home. He didn't have a really positive body image. He struggled with figuring out what was healthy, to eat, what kind of foods he should be eating. He had this really high stress job. All of these things are like he could have really been receptive to what I had to say that day. So being afraid of going on this, adventure with this other person, he could have been like, whoa, what did you read? What were you reading that made you in this, really awesome place? Or I love to work out at home. He could have told me that. And I didn't know that was something that, was, part of his everyday. A lot of the guys have to work out, and the girls too. I always say the guys, but there's lady pilots. They have to work out on their own a lot. So it's up to them to either go to the gym or to figure something out so they're staying fit and in shape and whatnot. And I missed that opportunity to connect with him on that personal level. Messaging him didn't work. All I really told him that day was I'm not really confident in being a coach. I don't really want to talk to anybody about it. And just, ugh. And that it didn't really matter. My coaching job just didn't really matter to me is what I conveyed by not sharing any part of my story with him. And I don't get that opportunity anymore. So it was really I could have helped him possibly, I sat with that for a while. And when Coach Caleb mentioned that it was our obligation, I just was I wanted to just bawl and run away. Just wanted to cry and excuse me, it's part of me. I was really, I hadn't really put that on myself before in that obligation kind of way. but it's important to think. And as time went on, I kind of did more considering over what I was sharing after we lost Andrew, and I started putting more out there because part of like after we found out about him, my husband had to leave and I was on my own, and the only thing that had me sane at the time was working out every day and checking in with the challenge group and keeping up with these new routines. And I realized how important working out was to my own mental health game. So I started sharing that more with some people, and it, it felt good. But I wasn't getting a lot of engagement on my posts and stuff like that. I wasn't getting a lot of likes, and I was kind of like, well, just whatever, keep doing it. I was more doing it for me than maybe the person out there that was listening that I didn't know about. But then I get these people coming up to me and saying stuff like, oh my gosh, Jen, I read that thing. It was awesome. I love your posts. I love your pictures. And I'm in my head, first thing before I even say, amazing, thank you, is why didn't you like it? I only had 4 likes on that one, and I knew, you were not one. So it's like, that was like the first thing in my little coach head is like, engagement, likes, and I had to like stop and say like, good heavens, Jennifer, have a smile on your face and please say thank you before this person walks away. So saying thank you, and realizing that a person's friend list, like the people on their list and whatnot, is not always amazing people. They're not always like all of our Beachbody community where we get just flooded daily with wonderful things and wonderful things. Some of them, they're only friends with people they know, and some people don't know very nice people, or it's just their family, and maybe people that aren't very supportive of them and accepting of their journey, or people that are really negative. Lorelei was saying the kind of negative people that are like, I'm deleting so-and-so from Facebook. I'm making a more positive space. You might be the person that they see that's positive. You might be that person that they see because their friends list is limited, or people don't post a lot from their friends list. So they might see your content, and even if they're not liking it or engaging on it and commenting, they very well could be seeing it and being influenced by it. So I've had it happen several times, seriously. I had a gal just the other day post, I had a picture of, what am I thinking, the flowers. And she not only like saw my picture, but she read it because she came to me and she smiled at my face and she's like, here's your smile for today. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you read it. It was great. I was very impressed, and it made me happy that somebody was, going out in the world and now they're smiling, and it was great. So just keeping that kind of thing in mind in your head, that even if people aren't engaging, we're, just keep sharing. And that was really like the biggest takeaway I had from the Super Saturday was like, I have to work on my share game. If by the end of 2016, I am not like sharing all the time, constantly just things and wonderfulness and interacting with people, like I've failed myself for the year. So it became my driving force for 2016. And I hope you guys share your stories too. I hope you guys are out there sharing your stories.
You are awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my gosh. Did you guys get like stopped up on your chest as she's talking? Like,
I was trying not to cry.
Not Andrew. I love Andrew.
He was a really great guy. He was a really sweet kid. He was young too. He was really sweet,
Which it's not your fault what happened to him, but I totally
like
what you're saying. Like, you wish you could have at least given him that little bit that we get.
Anything to let him know that there's something else that you can, like do with your time. Just something. So it was definitely up his alley. It was like, all of these things are like, that's what I do. Like finding all that out later was just, it was hard. It really, it led to my anxiety in October for sure. I was like, I'm not interacting with people enough. I'm freaked out about interacting with people. I was a little bit of a mess, but
now he's given you that oomph to really move forward and help people in a huge way. So every share you make through this year and every invite or every personal relationship you build is kind of in his honor, isn't it?
That's how I feel. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
definitely feel so. It's like you were a really great person and not enough people got to know it. And the
Oh.
more people that I can share my story with, and I like, it was the idea that I failed my friend, really, that like was like, this is a person that deserved to know all the things I had to say about like why the incline was on my to-do list and why I kept avoiding it. You know, it's a person that I shouldn't have been afraid to share with, ultimately, that I was just like what, and it was that headspace of like, what are they going to say?
The what ifs.
What
The
are they going
tennis
to
ball.
think?
The next
Yeah.
time it happens, the tennis ball. Let it go.
Probably, they don't want to know. They don't care. They don't want to know. You know, it's not really for us to decide that. It's definitely for other people to decide. Like, they will unfriend me. Believe they will casually walk away.
That's
Like,
okay.
oh,
Then they were meant to work with you anyway.
yeah, and that's all right. You know, not everybody on the you know, like, general planet is like meant to be my.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was really
happy
heartfelt
to.
and sweet. Mary, I'm not sure which Mary. It never tells me. It just says Mary. So one of our Marys, Bernowski, she wants to share something with us real quick.
Me.
No.
It's me.
Oh, I have it in the strip at the top, so down, I didn't know what that meant. Okay, Mary Coley.
This is me. Okay, yes. To kind of piggyback on what she was saying, I am the person on the other end of that whole idea. When I first met Lorelei, like, it was on like some garage sale site. She was like, "Oh, where I'm losing weight, blah blah," and I was like, I got into a conversation with her, and I was like, "Oh my god, this lady is so fake. All she wants to do is sell me something. I hate her guts." So no, but let me finish, okay?
I love
But I did friend her on Facebook. And yeah, it took me 50 forevers, and I may not have ever liked one of her posts, but every day I was reading them, and I realized, no, she isn't some lady who wants to sell them, who really cares about more than just, oh, here's your product and then goodbye. All right. So I've got, all right, I guess she sent me this thing. I'll click on it. Immediately after I had bought my Shakeology and everything, she emailed me. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited that you signed up. I'll add you to my challenge group. It's just in time. We're starting a new one." And it really brought me into the fold, and it really made me feel like, "Oh my gosh, this is really something that is more than just you're just trying to sell me something." And you'd be amazed at, like, yeah, I still am like super lazy when it comes to liking people's posts. I admit it. But I'll tell you this, like, I've come to count on those posts. And the other day when Lorelei got sick and then she had decided she was going to go back to working out, and then she was like, "Oh my God, this was too soon." I emailed her that night and I was like, "Oh my God, are you okay? I haven't seen a post from you all day long. What is going on? Are you okay?" I started to think that like she had killed herself or something. I was like, something is not right. Lorelei has not posted all day. And I really became invested in who she is and like seeing her posts. And so you'd be amazed at how many people, yeah, like Jen said, they may not like your posts and you may have no idea that they're reading them. They really are. Because I'm that person who's reading them and being super lazy about clicking the like button. But I am reading them, and I become so invested that I was like freaking out. I was like, "Lorelei, are you okay? I'm super concerned you didn't post today." She's like, "Of course, okay. I just, I hit the workout too soon after I was sick." And I was like, "Okay, thank God," because I was really concerned. And so being the person on the other end, I think it kind of piggybacks off of what Jenny was saying with that whole share, 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 because you never know.
Yeah.
And so
I've been surprised many times, and it's like the people that I'm like, a couple of them I was like, "Whoa, you're really cool though. Like, I think your stuff is cool. You think my stuff is cool? Your stuff is cool." So it feels good. It feels good.
You guys rock. I want to go like get tissues for my face.
So Mary, just so you know, you have a stalker.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't comment on everything, but I'm like, "Oh, what workout is she doing today?" There's crazy moves.
I can't wait to start size tomorrow. I am so pumped.
Yay!
And I got that from the other Mary. I was like stalking her Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, she's always posting about size. I think it's time to buy it.
I
And
saw
she's
it on
not
TV,
even
and I've been doing the
serious.
trials.